Aim, fire.
Hey guys, Ray here. Now, I'm back with actually not a live commentary this time, but I kind of just wanted to go over some spy basics and something I've learned while playing spy over the years. And just right off the bat, I'm gonna say that spy is definitely not my best class, but in this gameplay, I just wanted to experiment with it a little bit, and granted, spy isn't my best, but what I actually like to do is I like to play sniper a lot. And by that I mean, obviously I obviously get a lot of enjoyment out of headshotting people, and actually I was very curious to see whether being a good sniper, whether it would actually enable you to do better as spy and, sort of get the headshots you're going for with the ambassador, because the problem is a lot of spies, what I've seen as spy, and what I've actually seen from other people, especially while watching stabby streams, which I have been doing recently, is that to be a good spy, you have to be able to aim well with your primary, I guess I'm not even sure if you could call it a primary weapon, because technically his knife is his primary, but you have to be able to aim with whichever revolver you're using. And now I find that the ambassador is actually a really good choice for the spy, because I wouldn't say it's overpowered, because it takes a long time to get good with it. Now in this gameplay, I'm just kind of experimenting with it, but I am a pretty decent sniper. I have around 134 hours I think on sniper, and it is definitely my most played class, so I kind of wanted to see where I would stand with the spy himself. Now, as you'll see, there are a couple of failed shots obviously, but that's the thing with spy, you really have to go for it. And I'm not being, actually no, I am being aggressive, and you can kind of see how I'm not going for stabs at all, because that's actually one area that I really need to work on. But I'm really practicing my ambassador aim, guys, and one thing you can do to actually get good with it, one big thing is make sure you can see your crosshair, because one thing that happens is that you'll notice when I switch from the knife to the ambassador, the crosshair actually does get smaller, and if you have a crosshair that's not really helping you out and that you can't really see too well out of, is it's not gonna work out for you. So just don't. So as you can see, like, I can see my crosshair pretty well. It's very visible, and the other thing I wanted to get into is really positioning. Now, you have to be able to position yourself really well, and this isn't really too much of a good example. You can see how I'm being very aggressive with the scout right here. But one thing that does help as spy, and it's this very similar to sniper in my opinion, is that you have to have a really good team backing you up. Because if your team is getting dominated, obviously spy's not going to work out too well for you, because their team is going to be aware and everything. And another thing here is that you'll notice the server I'm playing on is actually relatively small, so that's not really going to be a problem. I can be aggressive, I have that sort of mobility. But in a server where it's 10v10 or 12v12 even, it's not going to be as easy to go for these shots, and even here fail headshot. But anyway, moving on, you have to make sure you have a really good position, because you can't aim from anywhere. You'll see here the soldier's distracted by the scout, and I use that to clean him up with a nice headshot. I would say a bit lucky, but as I say in spy, actually with any class there's a bit of a luck factor involved. It's not just it is obviously skill, but sometimes you do get lucky. Now, another thing I've done recently, and that I'm not really showcasing here, but I will be probably in the near future, is that I've actually installed Stabby's auto exec and some of the spy scripts. And I'll say, guys, if you want to be a better spy, honestly, just use them. They're really good. They've helped me a lot. In general, actually getting stabs. And some people might call them a bit cheap, because there's one thing he does where you can see through like your hands and your weapon and stuff. They're transparent, so you can see through, so you have more mobility, and you have more maneuverability, not maneuverability, but you have more options, I guess, and you can be more cautious in that sense, and you see more of your screen basically. And then another thing that ties in with that is that he has a script where the ambassador actually it disappears when you shoot it, as most people would know, And I think one thing that I find really useful typically is the crosshair switching colors, because that way you'll always keep track of it. And that's another thing, guys. If you're not going to be using a script, which I do recommend you use, by the way, fail stabs here, and it's pretty embarrassing, but I do make it up with a nice headshot. So what was I saying? Make sure you can see your crosshair, obviously. I guess a good color is really bright blue or dark blue, even. It depends on your on you. Even neon green. I've never actually used neon green, but I'm assuming it might be fine. But you know, if you don't know, if you had a hard time deciding, just stick with the typical white. It's relatively good. You can see I have no problem tracking the scout, and it's kind of weird how he doesn't go for me here. But white works very well, and I really like the crosshair I'm using here, because it's just easier to get headshots. Another one that might work well with the ambassador is the one where it's just a dot. That works really well too, because you can clearly see it. It's bolded, and that will really help you out. Now, Spy, guys, is really all about practice, and I do have a bit of nostalgia when I'm commentating this, because I've made a commentary about, well, it was a year back, on Sawmill. I think it was actually in it was done in February, so it's a bit over a year actually. And I've been giving some Dead Ringer tips now. I'm back doing the same thing with the ambassador. But the thing is with the ambassador, it's really just practicing with it, because you know, I can't really tell if being a really good sniper helps a lot, because even then the ambassador has a very different technique. You have to be able to I mean, you see more of your screen, which is definitely an upside, but you have to think about a lot of other factors, because the spy, similarly to the sniper, is actually very vulnerable. You have a lot of escape routes. I find the Dead Ringer to be very helpful, because you can just quickly escape your enemies if you do fail a headshot like I'm doing right now. And it's just very useful like that. I find it a lot better than the Invis watch. But even the Invis watch is good. It's really up to personal preference, and kind of a fail here. Now, another thing you want to be very careful with, typically pyros and scouts, although the spy actually does have a lot of counters to, or counter weapons rather, to the pyro, like the Spicicle and the Dead Ringer, and if you really master those, you can be very effective. But typically what I like to do, and what I've noticed to be my favorite loadout, by the way, look at this, Best Spy 2015, fail, and now I finally get him. Actually no, I don't even. Yeah, now I get him. Anyway, you know, guys, Spy is just, it's a combination of luck, it's a combination of practice. You have to really be careful, really know what you're doing. Just generally pay attention to your surroundings. I know it's hard to tell here because the server is really small, but just make sure you know what you're doing. Just practice the heck out of it. It can be a very fun class. Just listen to some music while you're doing it. You know, have fun with it. Improvise, be creative, and do whatever you need to get there. Peace out.